Well, I'm going to start by saying salam, shalom, and welcome to everyone here. And I wanted to thank the organizers for this initiative in this very difficult time that we're all going through. And I do mean all of us. And I want to thank you so much for the acknowledgement you've started with, because that's an important acknowledgement that we need to start our talks, to acknowledge the fact that we are actually living on a land that belongs to the indigenous people. And as a matter of the fact, I have given multiple ceremonies in the mosque about the importance of acknowledging the rights of the indigenous people and how we identify with their struggle and suffering, and how we need to be more mindful of what could be done for them. Lip service, as it has been said, is not enough. We need to be more aware about their rights, their needs, and understand the struggle they're going through. Now, I don't think I can add more, my brother David, to what you have said. He said it clearly. He indicated the religious perspective of, the historical perspective of Judaism and connection with the land of Palestine, or the Holy Land as we call it, and how Abraham was living in Iraq and then moved to Palestine before he went to Egypt, and then was kicked out from Egypt and settled in Hebron, and or Al-Khalil as we call it, and how the king of Canaan at that time, because that land belongs originally to the Canaaniyyin. An original tribe come from Yemen and settled in the Holy Land, and they're the one who established the first civilization in the Holy Land, or Palestine. And the ruler of that land at that time was a Muslim, submitter to the will of God, as we say it. That's what Islam is all about. Welcomed Abraham and settled in Hebron. And eventually Abraham gave, had children, Isaac, Ishaq, and then the child of Isaac, Yaqub. And then the apostles, or the 11 children of Jacob, moved out from Palestine to Egypt, historically with Yusuf, and lived in the land of Egypt for a certain time, for a few hundred years. And then by the time of Moses, come back again. And then they continued the history of the two empires and the intervention in the land of Palestine, and the genocides that took place on Bani Israel, the children of Israel, as a result of the games of the two superpowers at that time. Now, again, I wasn't expecting myself to talk about genocide. I did not to talk much about genocide, because the final word would be given to the International Court, Justice Court, and they have clearly indicated what is happening in Palestine and in Gaza. And at the same time, we need to just be more mindful and aware of what is really happening. Regardless of whether this is a genocide, or we need to use different terms, or to go into different political, words, or to really we need to investigate and look after and look before and look, and find out. Well, need not to look any further. Look into the TV screens and look into the social media and find the answer by yourself. I don't think it needs a genius to figure out that is what is happening in Palestine, or Gaza, Rafah right now, is no different than what Pharaoh have done to the children of Israel. I don't think anyone disagrees with me. As it is mentioned in the Quran, that يُذَبِّحُ أَبْنَاءَهُمْ وَيَسْتَحْيِي نِسَاءَهُم. Pharaoh slaughtered the children of Israel. He used to slaughter the male and allow the female to stay alive for the purpose of continuation of the generations. And we know exactly what happened to Pharaoh. Exactly, these are principles that we need to abide by as a human on earth. And as a human, we have also developed principles for us to govern our livelihood on this earth. We do have the International Justice Court. We do have something called the United Nations, despite of the fact whether it is doing a good job or not doing a good job, or it's a club now hijacked by certain superpowers. That's a different story. But we do have principles that are stemming from our moral values that dictates on us to be mindful and aware about the value of lives. And that's why we believe that the first crime was committed in humanity was the killing of one of the children of Adam, peace be upon him. And therefore, as it is mentioned in the Quran, من أجل ذلك كتبنا على بني إسرائيل أنه من قتل نفسا بغير نفس أو فساد في الأرض كأنما قتل الناس جميعا. After that story of the two children of Adam, God the Almighty said to us, therefore we ordained on the children of Israel that whoever kill an innocent soul unjustly have committed the crime of killing or murdering the lives of all mankind. And whoever saves it have gotten the reward of saving the lives of all mankind. That's clear. I don't think we need to go any further than this. So what is really happening right now in Gaza or in Rafah, or generally speaking in Palestine, in the Holy Land, needs to stop. There's also another crime happening in West Bank. There are people's land who has been taken away from them. There is an illegal building of settlements. There is an unjustified imprisonment for individuals. There is, an exercise of boycotting, sieging, and humiliating and torturing. I get emotional, I'm sorry. Because from the beginning of this, I started going around and talking to people and looking after their mental health. Just like what you get, David, you got a call before starting your talk from a lady from Gaza. I got a call last night from a young woman who said to me, I need to consult with you on something. I said, by all means, go ahead. She said, I want to know whether what I have experienced is real or not real, or whether I do have mental health issues I need to seek medical attention or not. So what did you see? What happened to you? She said, last night, when I went to bed, in the middle of the night, I woke up and I experienced something did not terrify me, but I witnessed the presence of someone. And I said to her, who was it? She said to me, it's Hiba. How many of you know her? The little girl who was trapped in the car after extended period of days or hours, and then she got killed. And I said to her, I don't know what to tell you, except you are an innocent soul with conscience. Because what made you wake up in the middle of the night and made you experience this was nothing but your own conscience, your own principles and values. And I said to her, these are the Malaika angels come to comfort you and send a message to you from Hiba that you as an activist for her and the cause of the children of Gaza, your efforts are not undermined and they're acknowledged by them in heaven because they are shuhada. And when I say that, I need to say it clearly to social media, shuhada does not necessarily mean terrorism. Those who are laughing know what I'm talking about. So it's insane for someone to attack me on social media and say I support terrorism and call for shahada. I don't want to go further because brother David knows what happened to me in my personal life, because still things are not fully, completed yet or ended. Still things are floating in the air. But that's what I would like to stay focused on in whatever time is left.
Say what shuhada is. What is it?
Shuhada is a status of that we as Muslims look forward to be getting at the end of our life. It's like someone is saint. They got that status after so much struggle in their life, and their sainthood will be recognized and acknowledged as a result of their contribution spiritually and to humanity. And I said to people, though, who have questioned me, I said, guys, if you think it this way, there's an awful lot of shuhada at sick kids who die every once in a while. As a matter of the fact, to comfort families, I say to them, I understand how difficult it is, this is for you, but your child is a shaheed. As a matter of the fact, the last family I was involved with in PICU, they were telling me the following, after our child lived peacefully, we smelled beautiful smell. Now, this is going to trigger to those who who knows what's shahada is all about. Upon the time of your shahada or your sainthood, the malaika angels will be welcoming you to the hereafter and taking your soul in a coffin wrapped with musk, and that's why the beautiful smell will be portrayed. Now, I was trying to comfort the family, say to them, this is exactly what happened to you. I shared it with some of the staff. One of them was Muslim. She was able to understand the principle, but she was laughing, saying, yeah, it's a good way to comfort the family. I said, no problem, that's okay. Now, this is where I need to start. Just like this sister who called me last night, and it was an urgent call because she got referred to me by someone else, and they said, I know it's late, but I think we can't delay this. Someone needs to talk to you. And by the way, if you go to my website, the first thing that pops up is saying that I'm providing mental health support to those who are struggling with issues of Gaza. And I do have clients who are out of the Islamic faith, by the way, who are people genuine, like so many who are here present here today, who were moved by the scenes of the killing, who were moved by the struggling of innocent people, who were moved by the bombardment of hospitals and schools, and who were moved by this act of stopping aid on UNRWA to choke more those who are living in a very difficult conditions for the past 17 years or so. These are human beings who have principles and morals that they're moved by them. And that's why you will see them, going out to streets and saying, this is the little we can do. This is the minimum we can bear with. And that's why you're seeing people, everyone is going around trying to say, what can I do? I wish I need to do something. I can't stay passive. And that's exactly what I want you to think about tonight. I want you to think about your own mental health. Because it happened to me personally. At the beginning of this, I was losing sleep. I would go to sleep at night and wake up in the morning more tired than the night before. My own daughter was crying a lot, and her mom told me, listen, you gotta talk to your daughter. I said, what happened? I went to her room and her eyes were red. I said, what happened? She said, I just watched the clip on social media, and the little kid, the little girl I saw on that social media looks exactly like my own sister, my youngest sibling. And this could be her. And I felt helpless and powerless for not being able to do anything. So I gave her that hug of comfort, and I said to her, I understand what you're going through, but there's something we can do about it. And I immediately contacted her school, and the school was very supportive in all the details. But now, what about you? Where you can turn to for support? What can you do to keep going? It has been going now for almost 5 months. We're in the 4th month and we're stepping into the 5th month. It doesn't seem to be ending. Our feelings has become numb, which is unhealthy. We now try to avoid looking at the social media anymore, or try to avoid watching the news, because we can't tolerate it anymore. It's becoming too much. Something has to be done. And that's what I want you to be mindful about. I want you to be mindful, first of all, about your own mental health, because God forbid, if you start exhibiting things similar to the sisters what the sister was exhibiting, or similar to some of my clients would be exhibiting, and might needed to go after that to see a psychiatry and to get some medications for comforting, then things will be in the red. We don't want to get to the red. We want to stay in the healthy zone where you're able to utilize your healthy feelings to prompt you and motivate you to keep going further and do more for the sake of saving a life in Gaza. So now I want to change the tone and the atmosphere and say, rather than talking about the feelings, because we have no much time, and I wanted to leave some time for questions, because from previous experience, I know the Brother David and myself know there is a lot of questions, valuable questions that will enhance, the outcome of this event. What do you think you can do in order for you not to feel helpless, powerless, despair, and you feel that you're saving a life of an innocent child? Give me suggestions. What do you think? Participating in demonstrations? Being engaged in social media? What else? Being part of the propaganda war that is being waged here in North America into portraying the truth, because there's a lot of distortion and a lot of lying. And allow me to say that I was a fan of CBC, and CBC is on my radio. When I get into my car, the station that pops into my radio is CBC. Now I feel ashamed of being caught listening to CBC. That's how I feel. Last time I saw CBC reporters, I knew that the cameraman or the reporter has nothing. But I said to them, listen, I want to pass a message to you to take it to your own managers. I am literally disgusted and ashamed of the work you guys are doing. You're promoting lies. This is the least we can do. We're living in a global village where whatever happens in one corner is seen by the other corner. You're losing your credibility. You're using our tax money to portray lies. That needs to stop. And the bullying, the intimidation that is taking place in campuses, taking places in mental health, in health institutions across Canada, and I'm saying it bluntly, and maybe I should, I work in the health sector, and I am being penalized for speaking loudly and trying to portray the truth. And I would say, let's be firm, let's be, strong. They're able to silence one voice, 2, 3 voices, 10 voices, but they cannot silence hundreds of voices. And if we're all showing support to those who have been, silenced or shut down, then they will think twice and thrice before they're doing that to another innocent person who's trying to stand up for justice. So don't belittle what you're able to do. There's a lot we can do. Just think positively, connect with each other, create this synergy and positive energy to help you change your negative feelings into much more positive feeling. And this is what I have been going around and promoting in all over the GTAH. I organize open mental health sessions. And I say clearly from the beginning, what I'm here is to translate your negative energy into a positive energy that would make you feel proud of yourself that you're standing for justice. We're not standing against Judaism. We're not standing against certain race. We're not standing against certain religion. As a matter of the fact, when Jews were persecuted in Europe, they were able to find heaven and safe refuge in Muslim countries. Palestine had Jews living along with Christians and Muslims in peace for a long time. It's just happened when this new movement come up and destroyed the villages and killed the people and evicted people like myself from their own land, then problems started. You cannot swipe things under the carpet and say, that's okay, let's just move forward. No, you cannot. There are people who are connected with the land. Yes, there is a historical, religious, connection with the land. But that's a land that is God given to those who are conscious, to those who are pure, to those who are responsible, those who are mindful of their obligations in life, those who are preserving to lives, not wasting lives and killing innocent people. So be mindful of your own mental health and translate that energy, negative energy, into more positive energy by connecting. Look at the power of social media. Look into the power of connecting with different groups. Look into the beautiful people who have moral principles, values that can connect easily with you, and you can connect easily with them and do something. And we'll continue to do it until the last breath. And this is what I have been saying in public, and I always get misquoted. And I say, don't take my words out of context. Take it from the context of the audience that has been present, who have been living in misery. I was doing a mental health session for returnees from Gaza, from refugees who come back. One of them lost 108 of his family members. One of them is an MD who haven't spoken to his family for 2 months at that time because he happened to be outside Gaza when this happened, and he lost connection with his own family. What would you say to people like this? I say to them what I have been saying to families in difficult situations, and to my clients when they come to me in despair. I say to them, let's make sense of the nonsense. There's no justifications to say to someone who's losing, large number of family members. There's nothing you can say to, the people of Gaza. And you know what's interesting? What's interesting throughout my sessions, I have been getting one message, constant message from the audience. We are inspired by the resilience of the people of Gaza. And that's exactly the motivation that made me go out of my ordinary way in that session where I got into troubles with. I see people coming from war zone, people who I've seen images of someone showing me their own nephews and nieces flattened to earth. Parts torn apart. But they are, in so much resilience and hope that I felt myself like this. We say struggle is part of our life living on this earth. لَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ فِي كَبَدٍ. We created man in hardship. We know that no matter how perfect we try to make our life, there's nothing perfect in this life. What is perfect, if you're a person of belief, is there in heaven, regardless of your faith background. This is waiting for you. And if you're not a person of a faith, you believe in karma. You believe that you do good, you get good in return. And that's a principle we operate from. And I always try to help people understand that this is a struggle. We're in the same boat and the same trench with the believers and the followers of Moses, peace be upon him. And we're following the footsteps of Moses, who've seen his own people being slaughtered and was feeling helpless and powerless from preventing that happening to them. But he never lost hope. كَلَّا إِنَّ مَعِيَ رَبِّي سَيَهْدِينِ. Nay, my Lord is with me and shall guide me. These are the words of Moses, peace be upon him. We believe in Moses. He's our prophet. He's the one who have made 50 prayers prescribed on Muslims to be 5 prayers. We believe, the name of Moses and Jesus, peace be upon them, is mentioned in the Quran more than the name of Muhammad, peace be upon him. The Israeli and Bani Israel, the children of Israel, is mentioned more in the Quran than the believers themselves. So we are a continuation of Islam, submitting to the will of God the Mighty. So I don't want you to feel despair. Regardless of how bleak things are, in spite of how difficult situations is right now in Rafah, we'll never lose hope. We will continue to believe that the one who have turned the fire, peace and tranquility on Abraham when he was thrown into the fire as a result of his belief, is able to turn the burning fire of the bombs, the intelligent bombs that come from the government of the US, into peace and tranquility on the hearts and the minds of the children of Gaza. And I do say the government, and I've been saying the international community have failed the people of Gaza. The international community leadership have failed the people of Gaza, and the international community have stood up for them. Praise yourself for being here tonight. Praise everyone who stand up for justice, for principles, for values, and point the finger of shame on our leadership because they have failed their own principles and moral values. I've always said it in public. I said to those who represent us in the Parliament House, don't you have children? Are not your children precious to you? Every time I go to tug my children to bed and kiss them to say good night, I cry inside my heart. I cry because I say maybe I am a hypocrite, giving the comfort and provide for my children when I know that this is not possible for the children of Gaza. But you know what keeps me going? Is the resilience that I have heard from the people of Gaza saying, we need no one except Allah. Again, they misquoted me on that. Yeah, that's the reality. It's a fight we need to take. Be proud of yourself. Don't feel despair. Connect with everyone. Use your social media. Deploy your phone into the best, actions. Participate in any meetings. Go connect with other people who might feel down. Raise their spirit. Talk to them. Reach out for mental health experts who can help you, who can empower you, who can help you to catharsize your tense feelings, and feel that you are doing something for yourself before you do it to others who are helpless in this planet we're living in. If we continue to allow the leadership of the international community to do what they're doing, one day will come, we will not be able to find a location on earth where people are able to breathe clean air. We need to be conscious. We need to do something before it's too late. With this, I conclude my talk. And I'm sure, as I said, questions are from previous sessions are very enriching and very important. So I'll stop here and save the time, inshallah, for after that for the questions. Jazakallah khairan.
Thank you so much for two very stimulating talks. Again, please, if you have questions, use the piece of paper.